Hello, all of you guys. Welcome to my channel. Hi, so we are on another video, as you can see, but this video is going to be a little bit different from what you guys might have seen from my channel so far. Today, I want to discuss the first book inside of the piece, the beautiful piece that is The Outsider by Richard Wright. Now, if you are a literature head, especially a Black literature head, I'm sure that this title is no unfamiliar face to you. But if you are not, for some context, this piece, The Outsider, was written in 1957, and it has been rewritten or republished many of times after that. The version that I am holding in my hand right now is a library version that was published in 1987. So this is a timeless piece. As we see, I am here reading it in 2025, and this book, so far, I've read the first complete book of the Dread section. It was such an interesting read. I've never read anything that gave me the experiences that this book gave me. First of all, I'm not somebody who really reads a lot of male literature written by men, especially not Black men. Just transparently, I really haven't read that much, and so this is my first introduction to really the Black male psyche, their thoughts and life. And this book was so much for me reading it that I had to go take a walk. Like, I literally had to go take a walk. Like the first day that I got it, I read it, and then I think I read it another day, and then it was just a lot, because I really understood the realities of what Black men in this country really go through. To explain it in a short kind of synopsis way, the book one of this piece, The Outsider, is entitled Dread, and I believe that it is entitled that because we see cross our main character, I don't even know if you would call him an antagonist or protagonist, to be honest. I just can say that he is the main character. He finds himself in a lot of situations that are not good. He's an alcoholic, and he is also not very expressive. He's a jokester, he's a prankster, but he's not very open with his peers or his family. He is married, but he's technically divorced. But this is the 1940s, which is the time frame of it is the 1940s. So divorce wasn't really something that was just such a talked about subject like we see today. Him and his wife was not living in the same house, and with that, he would have sex with women, of course, because he's technically, he's living single. And he had impregnated a 16-year-old girl. Now, he thought that she was 16. Turns out she's actually 15. And this is 1940. Again, just trying to preface that as the time frame of where this is being written. And this is Georgia. This is Chicago. So the age of consent would have been 16, but she wasn't even 16. So yeah, and that's kind of where the story intros itself, is that we see this character Dot, which is the 16-year-old, who it starts with such a beautiful intro piece. I think this book has one of the most beautiful first 5 pages that I've ever read in a fiction novel. It is beautiful, but I don't want to spend this video getting into the nooks and crannies of everything, because I could really go on and on about how Richard wrote this. It is just a really beautiful piece. The main takeaways that I want to encourage other people to do whenever they read this book, well, one, I'm encouraging you to get this book. Go to your local library and get this book, because this is a staple piece of Black male literature that I'm sure your library has it. 2, actually go in here with an open mind, because like I said, I just gave you kind of the half of what that book was about, But I really want you guys to read more into it, so I'm not going to give nooks and crannies, because I don't want to give any type of excuse for you to not read these stories. I feel like, unfortunately, some YouTube videos, or with the tool of YouTube, what can happen sometimes is some people run to YouTube for an understanding of something, but it's never really a real understanding unless they get in the field with whatever they're trying to study themselves. So I'm not going to give you baby food here and tell you all about the book, but what I do want to discuss is how great it is, and all of the symbolism of what he experiences, or what actions he do, that are really just catapults to what the real average African American man experiences. You know, this was written by an African American man. Our main character is an African American man, and you just know that Richard Wright wrote from a place of reflection and a place of examination of his own life, of his peers' lives. When you're a man, you know, people really don't care. And I know as women, a lot of us don't want to admit that, but especially as a black man, that's really what it comes down to. People do not care. And this book was very convicting for me, because it showed me how us as women, as black women, can even participate in doing that. Every woman, well, not every woman, because towards the end of the book we do see a woman that's not of color who comes into the story, but every woman that is referenced in this book, Gladys, his wife, Dot, the young lady he impregnated, and his mom, are all black women. And they all contributed in different ways to his feelings of dread that the book is about. However, at the same time, as it pertains to his wife, he got himself into why she feels how she feels, right? Could she have used her real womanness and been a better person with some of the decisions that she makes in return? Absolutely. But this book, I feel like, shows just how crazy, and I mean crazy, that this country, America, makes black people, right? Can make it, because it, you know, you have to wake up to it and choose to not be a victim of programming. But when you are unconscious of programming being attacked against you every single day, you will literally be mentally insane. And it gets to a point in here where he's reflecting on his past behaviors that got him to where he was in the Book of Dread. That was like, how did you even think that this was right? Like, how did you even think that this was something okay to do? And just like some of the themes of like black women and black men, like, how do we see each other? Do we view each other as more discardable because we're the same race, because we have the same culture, compared to like our white neighbors? It's technically a spoiler, but I think about that trope the most when we see at the end of the Book of Dread where he kills Joe. You have Jenny up in his face, right, which is a white woman, and who is constantly asking him questions, trying to have him up in his hotel room and all this, after, he's fled the way that he's fled and what he's fled from. And he decided to kill Joe on instinct, but didn't kill Jenny. And he even mentions in towards the end of the Book of Dread that if he was to kill her, that the police would have for sure been on his back. Like with Joe's death, it's not even sure that he'll be found, yet alone it'll get reported, because he's a black man in Chicago. But if Jenny, this white woman, even though she's considered a whore to society and a disappointment and all the things, she would have probably got him locked up. So I encourage everybody to really read black literature. Literature is a foundation. It is a tradition of us as black people, as African Americans. Even before we were writing things down, we were always telling stories. So literature is really a tradition for us. It's a part of us. Genuinely, it's a part of our culture. And I think we should be embracing that way more. And I think we do, but I think we do it negatively. I think we should be digging into real psyches. Like this is a very psychological book. Like this is a very psychological book of a black man in 1940. When I first opened this book, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the things that he was saying at first reminded me of my partner, and he's a black man in 2025. So yes, that was my conversation today. I'm very excited to continue to read this book. I'm very glad that I picked up this book. I wasn't gonna get it at first because it seemed kind of strange. I was like, it's little, a really great book, very beautiful piece. I give thanks to the Most High for, like this even being written. Like I'm very thankful that Richard went ahead and wrote it, and that we have it forever now. That's really what I wanted to say, guys. So I hope you guys are having a great day today. Besides that, maybe let me know what other pieces you guys have been reading. If you have been reading, if you want to get more into reading but you just haven't, this is an encouragement video to you to really do it. Get into it. Don't feel ashamed to go to the library or be a bookworm or whatever the case may be, because these things are instructions. They are encryptions in all art, right? Encryptions in art, right? And especially with black art, it is encryptions that is actually going to feed your soul. Don't be caught up on supporting people who you're told that because you're in this demographic you have to support, right? I.e. mainstream rappers, i.e. Instagram models, whatever the case may be. Not to take away them being artists, but there's things happening behind closed doors that just at this time was not happening with our art, because nobody even wanted to support our art or make money off of our art during these times, compared to now where you have labels who constantly want to get black individuals to be under their label. You have these fashion brands who constantly want to have black models to say, yeah, they're under my brand. Like, you know what I mean? It's different because it's not there was no greed aspect present when these things were written. So read 20th century literature. Love you guys. Have a great day.